Good morning, everybody. My name is Gary Parker, and I'm with my colleague, Sybil Mayard. This presentation this morning, which is called Getting Your Business Online, is brought to you with the support of the Royal Borough of Greenwich and its generative business program, which is a business support program. And also, it's part of a government-funded program called the Shared Prosperity Fund. So we are going to record this because we're going to put it online as well, so you'll be able to have access to it beyond the life of this transmission. Presentation will take approximately, or the whole presentation will take up to an hour, but there will be time, ample time for questions. You can put questions in the chat as well. I would ask you to remain on mute as you're doing now, so we don't have any background noise. And we'd like to thank you for your participation today. I think it might be useful first if you can share the presentation, Sybil. So we're going to go, yeah, here we are, and yeah, we're just loading this now. If you go to the first slide. This is me. My name is Gary Parker. I'm the Managing Director of C&T Associates. The company's been around for 20 years. I've been Managing Director for 10 years. And we provide business support, fundraising, and digital services support and training, including elements of this presentation that's going to be delivered now. I'll talk at the end. If you're Greenwich based or indeed Bexley based, there may be some free business support that we can offer you. If you're outside of those boroughs, you should look at your local authority website to see if there's any local business support that you can access. If you can go on to the next slide, Sybil, and introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Sybil, and I've been working with C&T Associates for a few years now. So my background is in website design. So I design and build websites for small businesses. And since I've started working in web design, I have worked with a range of small businesses from a wide variety of industry sectors, including consultants, artists, well-being organizations, e-commerce businesses, fashion brands, etc. And I'm going to be running the main part of this presentation today.
Okay, thank you, Sybil. This is the outline of the workshop. You've had the introductions. We're going to look at a few key issues, including the benefits of an online presence. What do you need? Build a website, create a professional email address, track the performance of your website, market your business, and a range of other useful free tools, and staying safe online, which is very important to everyone. And at the end, there is contact information and a number of useful links. I will now hand back to Sybil to formally start the presentation. So over to you, Sybil.
Thank you, Gary. So moving on, we'll start with what are the benefits of having an online presence. So many benefits of running your business online, such as low operating costs compared with having a physical premises. Your business is accessible to customers 24/7. So even while you're asleep, your website or social media is working hard to get those customer inquiries in, or to get those orders in if you sell online. You can manage your business from almost anywhere as long as you have an internet connection. You could potentially reach an international audience, or at least you can reach an audience which is outside of your local area. It's easier to track analytics and customer behavior. For example, how many people are browsing your website and where they're coming from. And later on in the presentation, we'll look at a few tools which enable you to do that. And finally, it's a small carbon footprint. So what do you need in order to get your business online? So these are the main things that you want to be thinking about. So you need a website. I would not recommend running a business without one nowadays. You need a custom domain, a professional email address. You may need hosting, and we'll come to that later on. It's not needed in all cases. SEO, which is search engine optimization, email marketing, blogging, social media, and you may want to try running paid ads. So we'll go through each of these in turn today. So first of all, building a website for your business or organization. So these days, it's very rare for any business or organization not to have a website. It's just expected that you would have one. And the majority of customers wouldn't even buy or consider buying from a business if they didn't have a website. Most people nowadays will always research the company first by looking at their website before making any decisions to even contact the business. And also there are billions of searches being done every day on search engines. So by not having a website, you're missing out on a big potential opportunity there for your business to be found via search. So I highly recommend having a website. So if you're going to start building one, you need to consider things like your time available to build it. What is your budget? Do you have the skills? So will you build it yourself or hire someone to do it for you? And what are the requirements of your project? So these are things like, what is the purpose of the website? Who is it targeted to? Requirements also are the features and content that's going to go on your website. So what pages you need, what's going to go onto each page, like text, images, videos. Think about the features you might need, like a blog. Do you need a photo gallery? And what functionality if you need it, like a newsletter sign-up form? Do you need e-commerce to sell products or services? Contact form, I would recommend anyway, having one. Do you need a chatbot? Now, it is possible to build a website for free, and we'll look at some ways to do that. Using a website builder is the quickest way to get started. It's very rare nowadays that people would hire a website developer to code the entire website. It's much faster and cost-effective to use a website building platform, and we'll go through a few popular ones. And one mistake that I see happening very often is forgetting to include legal information on your website. And by law, you are required to have things like a privacy notice. So if you're processing data, and you probably will be doing so, you do need to have a privacy notice on your website. So this is about how you collect, use, and process personal information. And you also must have a terms and conditions page. So this is the list of conditions that your customers are agreeing to when they use your website or when they use your business. So we'll go through a few website builders. First one here is Wix, a very popular one. So with Wix, you are able to start for free. You don't need to purchase a hosting plan because Wix is providing the hosting for you. If you need additional features, then you can install apps from the Wix app market. So examples of apps could be like a booking appointment feature, for example. The platform doesn't require any maintenance, so things like software updates and all of those are done for you. You can also build an e-commerce store with Wix. So if you're thinking about selling products or services, you can do that. However, for advanced features like we just mentioned, the e-commerce or removing the Wix ads, connecting a custom domain, taking payments online, then you do need to upgrade to the paid plan. So if you want to just get started right away, very quickly, you just need a basic website, but you're not taking payments, then Wix is a good way to do that very quickly and to start for free. But if you do need the additional features, then you will have to upgrade. Second platform we have is WordPress.org. Now, there are actually two versions of WordPress. There's one called WordPress.com, and it's important not to get the two confused. Today, we're focusing on the .org version because that's the one that we recommend. And WordPress is very popular, and the reason why that is because it's a very powerful and customizable platform. So you can do almost anything with WordPress. There are many themes and plugins available to enhance the functionality of your site. And many of these plugins and themes are free. So again, examples of plugins could be photo galleries or contact form plugins, appointment booking plugins, and so on. If you are selling products online or services, then you can use a plugin called WooCommerce, which is free. And once you've installed that, then you instantly have an e-commerce store on your WordPress site. In terms of costs, WordPress itself is free, but you do need to set up a hosting plan and register a domain before you can install it. So WordPress can be the more cost-effective solution because unlike Wix, where Wix is hosting the website, with WordPress, you have total freedom over which hosting provider you choose. So you can compare different providers and find the most cost-effective one. Now, one thing to note about WordPress is it does need regular maintenance. So about once a month, you do need to go into the admin and update the themes, the plugins, and the WordPress software. And we highly recommend making a backup as well, because there is a possibility that there could be an error on your website. Website could crash. It doesn't happen often, but we always recommend doing a backup just in case something goes wrong. You can always roll back to a previous version of your website and you won't lose everything. Then third platform is Shopify. So if you are an e-commerce business and you're selling a relatively large number of products, you might want to look into Shopify as a very popular e-commerce platform which powers millions of merchants around the world. And the reason I recommend Shopify for e-commerce is I find it very easy to get started with. So once you've registered for your account, you get taken straight to the Shopify admin, and you have everything you need to start selling straight away. I find the interface quite very intuitive as well. So there's no limit to the number of products you can sell on your Shopify store. You can use themes. So themes are a set of styles, fonts, colors that determine the look and feel of your store. And you can customize these themes exactly to how you want them to look without having to do any coding. Apps are available from the Shopify App Store if you need to add more features. And in terms of costs, the basic Shopify plan is usually 25, that should be £25 per month, not dollars. But there is a special offer at the moment where you can get the first month for only £1. So you might want to make use of that offer. Alternatively, what you can do is you can contact us about setting up an unlimited trial store for you. So there is a small charge for this, but once we have set up the store for you, you'll be able to use the store for an unlimited amount of time. So you'll be able to try out all of the features, but you won't have to pay any of the Shopify hosting fees until you are ready to go live with your store. Then lastly, the benefit is you have 24/7 access to the Shopify support team via chat, email, and community forums. So help is always available if you need it. Then there are many other website builders out there. There's Squarespace, Webflow, Weebly, etc., each with its own set of pros and cons, and we can't go through all of them. But what we suggest doing is researching maybe 2 to 3 maximum, comparing and contrasting the features and matching them up with your requirements, and choosing the best platform that's most suitable to what you need. So think about your requirements and research the platform to see what features they offer and how much they cost. Okay, so next we'll move on to custom domain. So what is a domain? This is what appears in the address bar of the browser. It's also known as a URL. And some tips here for choosing the best one. So choose a domain which is as short as possible. The shorter it is, the easier it is for people to type in to the browser. Include your business name in the domain. Choose the most appropriate domain extension. So some common ones here are .com, .co.uk, .org.uk. And difference between these are .com is if you have an international presence, that would be more suitable. .co.uk for UK-based businesses. .org.uk is used for non-profit making organizations, and there are many others as well, but those are the most common ones. You want to avoid hyphens in numbers. You can purchase more than one domain, and this is optional. So the reason why you might want to do this is because sometimes when people are typing in your domain name, they could make a mistake, and you might want to register domains which are very similar. So if someone types in a domain name which is very similar to your company name, then you can redirect that domain to the main one. And domains are relatively cheap anyway, so it's worth registering several different ones. They start from around £7 per year plus VAT. Really depends on the domain provider that you choose and the length of the contract. So you are able to purchase a domain for 1 year, for example. If you purchase one for 3 years or 5 years, then the price per year goes down. And here are some common domain providers. There's GoDaddy, Namecheap, 123reg, and there's many others. So creating a professional email address. So email is a very convenient and low-cost way to communicate with your customers, suppliers, and anyone else. And there's free providers, which I'm sure you've all heard of, which are Gmail, Outlook, or Yahoo. But there are many reasons why you would want to upgrade to a professional email address, such as in the form of your name at yourcompanyname.com. One reason is that it's a good idea to have an email address which matches your domain name. It looks much more professional. It shows you're serious about your business. And it's also preferable when sending email campaigns. So we'll talk later on about email marketing. But if you decide to create a newsletter, for instance, and you're sending out emails to your mailing list, then many email marketing platforms don't like free email addresses. They prefer a professional email address, because with a free one, you can sometimes get issues with deliverability. Emails are more likely to end up in people's spam folders. So when you're choosing an email hosting package, you can do this when purchasing your domain and look for a package that gives you ample storage space. So don't look for packages that give you, say, 500 megabytes. It's not going to last very long and your email inbox will get full very soon. So maybe 1 to 2 gigabytes to start with, or even 5 is a good place to start. So next we'll move on to how to set up your hosting. So we talked about a few platforms earlier, like Wix and Shopify. So these platforms, you won't need to arrange a separate hosting plan because the platforms provide the hosting for you, and that's what you pay your subscription for. However, WordPress is a bit different. You do need to purchase a hosting plan in order to install the WordPress software. So when you're choosing a hosting plan, make sure it includes an SSL certificate. So SSL, without going into too much detail, stands for Secure Sockets Layer. So when you go into any website, you'll notice that most of them start with HTTPS in the domain name. The S at the end stands for secure, and you want to make sure that your website has that HTTPS. And that's what the SSL certificate does. It's a way of securing your website and prevents against things like cyber attacks, hackers. Research prices and features to ensure that you're getting the best deal. So we recommend comparing a few different providers, seeing what they offer, and making a decision. Choose a package that best suits your needs. So you want to look at things like how much traffic your website can receive per month. Some hosting plans put a limit on how much you're able to get. So if you expect your website to be receiving a high amount of traffic, make sure you choose a package that doesn't put a limit on that. Also, you want to look at how much storage space you're getting with the hosting plan. Now, hosting costs vary a lot, but they typically start from around £6 per month plus VAT. And here's a few examples of hosting providers: SiteGround, Bluehost, DreamHost, WP Engine, and there are many others. Right. So once you have sorted out your domain, your professional email address, you've got your hosting, and you've built your website, you want to do some SEO or search engine optimization on it. So this is a process that helps your website to rank higher in search results. So when people are searching for certain search queries, you want your website to appear as high up in the search results as possible. It is a long-term process, so it does take time for this to work and for your site to rise up in the rankings. But we do recommend doing it because it's the best way to get good quality traffic to your website. SEO is organic, which means that it doesn't use paid advertising. It doesn't cost you anything to do SEO unless you hire someone to do it for you. One thing to note is your website must be mobile friendly. Now, this is not an option. Nowadays, search engines are penalizing websites that don't work well on a mobile phone. So you need to make sure that your website works and looks good on all devices: desktop, mobile, tablet, smartphone. You need to optimize your page titles, meta descriptions, and image alt tags. So by optimize, we mean making sure they're not too long or too short, making sure they're descriptive, and they include relevant keywords. So keywords are the words and phrases that describe your website. And those are the words or phrases that people are going to be searching on search engines. And those are the words that are going to make your website appear in the search results. So in other words, you need to make sure that the keywords and phrases on your website are matching with what people are typing into the search engines. You can use AI generated content on your website, but we don't recommend copying and pasting directly from tools like ChatGPT. You need to read through the text, edit it, make sure it has a human feel to it before publishing it on your website. Again, search engines are starting to become better at detecting AI generated content, and it can get penalized. So don't use too much of it. Broken links. So broken link is a link that you click on and it gives you an error that says page not found. So you need to make sure you either fix these links or remove them from your site. Your website needs to have a logical structure. It needs to load fast. If it doesn't, people will start to leave and go elsewhere. And your visitors must have a good user experience when browsing your website. Submit your site to Google Search Console. So this is a free tool that Google provides. If you connect your website to it, it will help to index your web pages more quickly. And also you get some insights into how well your website is performing in search. For example, how many times the website appeared in search results, how many times people click the search result, and also what position. So you can see exactly at what position in the results your web page appeared. And then finally, make sure that your site has the SSL certificate installed as mentioned earlier. Okay, starting a blog. So search engines love websites that are updated on a regular basis. And it's not just for search engines. You also want to blog in order to give your audience new content, keep them informed and engaged. And it's also a good way to demonstrate that you're an expert in your field. So adding a blog helps improve the SEO of your website. All of the website builders mentioned previously offer blogging tools. Like SEO, it is a long-term process. So unfortunately, you're not going to be getting tons of traffic just after posting a couple of articles. It does take time to build trust and to start getting quality traffic to your website. And we recommend posting every 2 weeks or so. There's no rule about this. You can do it more or less often, but the main thing is to do it on a regular basis. So even if it's once a month, try to stick to a regular schedule. So not posting once and then leaving it for 3 months, then posting again. It has to be consistent and regular. Because when you do that, search engines start to notice that your website is being updated with new content, and then it will reward your website by displaying it higher up in the search engine results, meaning potentially more traffic to your website. Now, it's important to track the performance of your website, and in fact, tracking the performance of any of your marketing efforts, because you need to know what's working and what isn't. There's not much point in putting lots of time and effort into something if it's not really giving you the results that you want. So in order to do that, there are analytics tools available. So for tracking performance of your website, you can use Google Analytics or GA4, which is a free tool. And with this, you can monitor various metrics such as page views. So how many times your pages were viewed and which pages were looked at. Acquisition, so this means how people are finding your website. That is, whether they're going to it directly, are they coming from a link on another website, are they coming in through search engines, are they coming through social media platforms. You're able to view the number of users that are viewing your site, the locations of where they're coming from, what devices they're using, and also much more. So you can use all of this information and data to keep optimizing and improving on your website's content. Okay, so we talked a lot about websites, so I'm going to move on to email marketing. So email marketing is a very powerful tool for keeping your customers engaged and up to date with your business or organization. So examples of content that you might want to include: you can send newsletters, special offers, competitions, launch of new products or services, company updates, etc. And like we talked about, monitoring your efforts. With email marketing, you can also monitor key metrics. So things like open rate, which are how many people opening your emails, click-through rate, which is how many are clicking the links in the emails, bounce rate, so how many emails were not delivered, and unsubscribe rate, which is how many people unsubscribe after receiving your emails. So monitoring all of these are going to help you to improve on your email campaigns, and hopefully will increase the open rate each time. So there are a few email marketing platforms available. Here are a few common ones, and all of these offer a free plan. MailChimp, probably the most popular one. MailerLite, which is an alternative to MailChimp. And there's also a HubSpot. HubSpot is actually much more than an email marketing platform. It does offer many other tools, for example, live chat and other various tools. So it can be quite complex. So if you're not looking for all of that, then starting on MailChimp or MailerLite may be more suitable. But if you need additional tools, then HubSpot is quite generous with its free plan, and it does offer quite a lot for free. Now, one thing to remember is if you're going to use email marketing, then you must obtain your customer's consent before sending marketing communications. So a couple of ways to do this. You can either ask them verbally if they're happy to be added to your mailing list, or they can sign up via a newsletter sign-up form on your website. Now we're coming on to social media. So social media is a very effective and inexpensive way to market your business, and you are engaging directly with your followers. So similar to blogging, it's also a long-term strategy, and you want to be producing relevant content and publishing on a regular basis. And here are a few popular social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, which is formerly called Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. And you may or may not have heard of Nextdoor. So this is another platform which is good for local businesses. So with this one, you can connect with your neighbors, people in your local area, and it's good for advertising local businesses, events. There's also groups you can join in there as well. Now, I think with social media, many people can get overwhelmed with it. There's so many different platforms on there. You don't know which one to choose. So I would recommend not being on all of them, choosing maybe 2 or 3 at the very maximum, because it can get very time consuming having to manage much more than that. So what you need to do before starting with any of these platforms is to do your research. So each of these has its own unique set of users. So to have a specific age group or specific genders or people with specific interests that use the platform. So you want to research who's really using these and whether your target audience is on the platform that you've chosen. That's the key to being able to reach the right audience with social media. Just going to, okay. And one thing that isn't mentioned on here, in order to manage your social media and save time, is you can schedule your posts. So what I recommend doing is creating a content calendar. So this could be something as simple as a spreadsheet where you would list out what you're going to post and when, and what is the format of your post. Is it going to be a video, a text post, a carousel, just an image, and what description you're going to add to that post, so that you plan everything out in advance, maybe for the next 2 months, for example. Then what you can do is, once you have that, you can use a tool like Buffer, which is a scheduling tool. You can connect, I think, up to 3 platforms with Buffer on the free plan. Put your posts into there, get it all ready. You schedule the date and time you want it to be posted, and then it will automatically be published at that date and time. So it really does save time, because you can get everything prepared in advance, and then it's sort of like set and forget. You can leave it, and then automatically your posts will be published. So that's one way of making it a bit easier to manage your social media. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Google Business Profile. So this is a free tool that Google offers, and it's another way of promoting your business on search engines. So if you have a Google account, then you have access to this tool. So what you need to do is, in order to set up your profile, is to add your business information into it. Make sure it's complete and all up to date. So you can put your business name, address, opening hours, phone number, link to your website, services that you offer, and locations that you serve. The more information you put into there, then the easier it is for people to find your business. You can ask your clients to write reviews. So when you go into your Google Business Profile account, there'll be a section that says Get Reviews. If you click into that, it will give you a link. You send the link to your customers. When they click that, it will take them directly to a box where they can enter their review. So very simple to do. Make sure you respond to all reviews, whether they're positive or negative, because it shows that you're active and you are actually listening to your customers' feedback. Reviews build trust, and if you respond to those reviews, that also helps to build trust and credibility. Finally, you can add FAQs. So there's a section on there for questions and answers. You don't need to wait for your customers to enter the questions. You can enter them yourself. And updates as well. So there's a feature which is sort of like a mini blog where you can put some updates about your business or organization. And that's also good to show that you're active, where people can see that you've got some news articles. Then we come on to paid advertising. So all of the marketing methods that we've talked about so far are free, apart from the website hosting, but SEO, email marketing, social media, Google Business Profile, they don't cost you anything to do. You might want to try paid advertising because this is a faster way to gain visitors to your website and increase conversions. But it can be expensive, so you do need to define your budget. So how much are you willing to spend per day on this? Several platforms allow you to do this. So search engines like Google or Bing, or social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Advertise on the platforms that your audience is using. So it's even more important when you're running ads that you're utilizing the right platforms where you can find your target audience, because otherwise what could happen is you'll be getting people clicking on your ads. You end up spending a lot of money, but if they're not actually converting, they're not the right people, they're not not actually interested in your services or products, then it's going to start becoming expensive and you won't be actually making money from it. And you do need to monitor the performance of your campaigns so you can make adjustments and improvements. So similar to the analytics tools we looked at earlier, you do need to look at how well your campaigns are performing, understand what's working and what isn't, so you can keep improving, and that will help you to increase your conversion rate. Right. So yeah, a couple more slides. So here is a list of useful tools which you can very helpful for running your business, and all of these are free. So the presentation wouldn't be complete without mentioning AI. There's Chat and GPT, which is a tool for generating text content, like text for blog posts, for example, social media posts, using it for generating ideas of what to post. Document creation and collaboration in Google Docs, file storage and sharing, Google Drive, Dropbox, WeTransfer, project management, there's Trello, graphic design, Canva, social media scheduling tools, so Meta Business Suite, so that works specifically with Facebook and Instagram. And then we have Buffer, as we mentioned earlier on. Video conferencing, so Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meet. And finally, meeting scheduling is Calendly. So keep the list handy, because I'm sure you will come across these at some point. They really will make your life much easier. And then we have the final slide. Just wanted to give you a few tips about staying safe online. Cybersecurity is a very big topic at the moment, with businesses unfortunately being hacked and suffering from cyber attacks. So here are a few things that we recommend you do. Don't reuse passwords across multiple websites. So you need a different password for each one. Store your passwords in a password manager, so don't write them down on pieces of paper or send them in emails. They're much safer in a password manager. Install antivirus software on all of your devices and make sure they're kept up to date. Don't submit personal data on unsecured websites. So we talked earlier about HTTPS. if you see a website that begins with HTTP and it doesn't have the S, it's not secure. So you must not submit data, for example, credit card information on these sites. When you're on any website, check in the address bar in the browser to verify that you are actually on the website that you intended to visit, because there are many forged websites on the internet that look exactly like the real one. When downloading apps or software, make sure you download them from legitimate sources only and always install the latest version. Don't click any links on suspicious emails and don't download attachments from them. Keep your devices up to date. So this includes your phone as well, making sure you've always got the latest version of your operating system. And finally, if you're using WordPress, then do make sure that you update your website. So keep your plugins, themes, and WordPress files up to date on a regular basis. And there's many more things we could mention here, but conscious of time, we're going to end the main part of the presentation there. And we are now open to taking any questions. So if you would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand via the Zoom tool or put your question into the chat. I'll just check to see. I don't see any.
Yeah, Wendy's raised a hand.
Right. Okay.
Hi, Sybil.
Hi.
I was interested in your suggestion of perhaps buying more than one domain name. Firstly, I've only gone on to GoDaddy.
Yes.
I have no links with GoDaddy, so I'm not advertising here. But the point is that that's the one that I know. And there's a monthly rental, but then they'll suggest under the domain name that you can buy it. And I was just wondering whether, number one, it was worth buying outright a domain name. I don't know what you think. What do you think about
So
that?
if you mean buying a domain name before you have the actual website set up, is that?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
it corresponds with my business name.
yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend getting the domain purchased, because if you don't do it now, there's a chance that someone else could purchase it. And once they've got that domain, then it's gone. And then if someone else registers that domain and that's the business name that you want, you're going to have to register a slight variation of it. And then now there could be confusion because you and have a very similar to domain name to what another person has. So that's why we also recommend purchasing more than one domain and like several versions of it.
Yeah, but what I was thinking is
Yeah.
slightly different, which is there's a monthly, there tends to be a monthly rental rates, like I don't know, or maybe an annual rate, you know, 1p a month that goes up after a year to £12.99 a month. Or there's a suggestion that you can buy the domain name outright, like a freehold, you know, you own it outright as opposed to renting it monthly or annually. Or am I misunderstanding what that
Oh,
means?
I see. Yeah, I've not come across that before, I'm afraid. So I've not come across being able to own a domain name outright. I've only heard about, because usually domains and hosting can't be purchased outright. They can only be rented.
Oh.
if you can purchase a domain outright, I suspect it would be a lot more expensive.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
I didn't know that was an option. So
Okay. Can I
yeah,
just ask one other question?
of course.
Because I know others might have their question as well to ask, and that is that back to the theme of having variations of your domain name. Is it a useful with the different variations of a domain name? Could you use each domain name for different landing pages, which then goes to the one website? It's in terms of targeting different customer segments.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, if you wanted to do it that way, then you can do. So, for example, if you had one that targeted people in the UK and then you had another site which targeted a US audience, then you could have different variations of that domain name. And each one would be linked to a separate website targeting a separate audience. So if that's what you mean, then yeah, that's perfectly possible to do.
Well, using the two domain
Mhm.
names, the USA and the UK, use them for landing pages, which then go to the one website.
I mean, I do this a couple ways. So you can have separate websites. So you can have if you have two domains, you can have two websites. So one domain links to one site and the other domain links to another site. Or you might want to have just one website and have two domains link to that site. So whether they type in the UK domain or they type in the US one, both of them will redirect to one website. So with the second way, there'll be a redirect. So regardless of which domain they type in, they both go to the same site.
Thank you for that. Thanks, Sybil. I appreciate
I
it.
hope that makes sense.
It does.
Tanya
Hi,
Campbell. Thanks. Tanya Campbell has raised her hand.
a quick question. Oh, I didn't see it. I couldn't quick. Oh, whilst I'm on quickly. I just wanted to check. You see, if you see a name, so say I've thought of a name and then I've gone into like the check thing to check the name, and I've seen the name, but their website is actually not using that direct name. So I can't remember what it was now, but say it was Sybil's underwear, but I wanted to put underwear world or something, but it's like they've already like you said, bought probably a domain that's got Sybil's underwear, but they're not actually, their actual website doesn't say Sybil's underwear. Like, can you still technically use it or can you not?
I mean, as long as that specific domain hasn't been taken yet, as long as it says it's available when you check in the tool, then yeah,
Okay.
you can purchase it.
Yeah. Because I saw one and it was like, it's like it said it was not for sale, like say on the UK, but then it was like saying it was available at .com, but I'd have to pay for it. I don't even know how I would have had to pay for it, but I didn't know if that was possible. Like if it's being sold as like a UK, but I could still get it then as a .com. I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah, you can. So, I mean, there's certain domain extensions, but they're mostly regional ones where you have to be registered in that specific country in order to purchase it. But .com doesn't have that restriction. So I'm based in the UK and I have a .com domain. So yeah, as long as it says it's available, .com, you can purchase it. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay then. Thanks for those questions. It's now after 12, so we need to move on. Just to thank you all for joining us today. Here are our contact details. As part of this series, there will be more presentations soon. You all should be on our mailing list, or you can check out the cntassociates.com website, or our other social media that is around. We will be sending a copy of this presentation out to people today, and those who have attended. And I would like to thank you for your participation, and I hope to see you all again soon.